So if you've discovered that you are what we call a chosen one, or a starseed, or a wanderer, I want to talk about how you can start embracing that more. Because when you first discover this, or you haven't really rooted yourself in your knowingness, rooted yourself in this, it can seem a little bit daunting, especially if you've gone through a normal kind of 3D experience, especially if you've been conditioned into the Matrix, which pretty much all of us are. Very few of us escape that when we come to this planet. But I want to go over some things about how you can start tapping more into your abilities as a chosen one. Again, whether you've discovered you are chosen one, wanderer, starseed, any of the labels, really, if you're drawn to this, I would probably say that you are. And even if it's just light work or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what designation you give it. I want to talk about how you can tap more into your abilities, more of the divine, infinite, co-creative abilities that you have, tune more into your knowingness, tune more into what you actually are, because I really believe it's not just about having the awareness of that which we are, watching a video like this, connecting and resonating with it, but it's about also expressing those abilities to really encode them into our own reality, which also helps encode them into the collective. The more chosen ones, wanderers, starseeds, light workers that are actually shining that light, giving that fully or as fully as they can in this experience, the more it invites others, more dormant chosen ones, dormant starseeds and light workers who maybe haven't even discovered that they are that yet. They're still going through the veil of forgetting. But the more of us that fully embrace and shine our light fully in that way that's ever expanding, the more that can actually be cast under that light, the more that can be invited into their own. So anyway, that's a long intro, but let's get into some of the ways you can start to do this to really tap into those natural abilities that you have. Again, we are extremely powerful beings. We have been lied to and told we are not, but you are, and you can prove it to yourself, and here are some of the ways you can. So I got 5 for you, and we're going to go in reverse order, starting with number 5, and that is to go within and listen to silence. And this sounds so simple, but when you tune out the noise, the conditioning, the matrixy things that we're just bombarded with, the advertisements, the stimulus, the social media, all of that stuff, and you tune it out and you tune in, tune out and tune in, and you really move into that silence. Maybe you have some thoughts go by, but you don't attach yourself to them. You really listen to that silence. You're going to start getting downloads. You're going to start getting messages from your angels, from your higher self, perhaps from even beings at higher densities that have grander awareness than you do, at least in this form, but are still connected to that which you are connected to, which is all that is, the one infinite creator, all that is, oneness, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And from that infinite information, you will start getting downloads and ways in which you can, for yourself specifically, in your unique experience as a divine, infinite, co-creative being expressing themselves in this 3D world, you will get instruction unique to you that will help you to unlock these abilities. Because there are so many of them, but there are many different ones that you can tune into. It might not be right for you to tune into one or the other. It doesn't mean you wouldn't have the potential to do so, but there might be something you, even before you came into this physical form, wanted to do while you were here and tune into. Now you have to become aware of that while you're here and then tune into that while you're here. But when you embrace the silence and you really tune in and you kind of stop talking so much and start listening and really do the practices that allow you to clear the space and open that space so things can come in, because when this space isn't cleared, the advertisements, the stimulus, all this stuff is happening, the space is too occupied. But the silence starts to allow this to fade away and create that open space for these things to come in. And again, I can't tell you specifically what's going to come in for you. That's kind of the magic of this. It's the unknown. But that's what's exciting about it too. It's going to be unique for you. And so I would tell you to embrace that and see what comes through and see what you're inspired to do. So number 4, and again, we're going over some things that I recommend you do as a foundation here, and then we'll move into some more specifics, but it's protect your energy and vibration. Because again, one thing the Matrix tries to do, again, we can call it whatever, the Matrix, the conditioning, the powers that be that don't want you to understand you're very powerful, and they want to use your power to manipulate you into using your own power against yourself. That's one of their biggest tools, because they can't actually, because of the law of free will and other things, they can't actually do anything to you, but they can trick you into you doing things against yourself, because then it's your own free will, whether you're aware of it or not, being used against yourself. That is what, and again, we can talk about egregores, we can talk about the Orion group, there's so many different things we could go into, but one of their biggest tools is to be able to use your power and your own free will against you through things like informed consent. And again, we can go down that rabbit hole, but this is why it is so essential to protect and to continually aim to keep your vibration at a certain set point. Because when your energy and vibration is lowered, and I think you'll notice that through so many of the things that we know are manipulated, so many of the things that we kind of have discovered now are a bit nefarious at the very least. Things like social media and one of the things, the news, a lot of programming. I mean, even think of that word programming, you know, tell a vision, you know, these kinds of things. What vision is that though? Is it with your best interests at heart? Usually not. But what they're doing is lowering your vibration because you're tuning into those, and it's not the thing that's lowering your vibration. It is your ability through intention. It is your ability through your awareness, attention as well, that lowers it, because now you're giving your attention to something that's calibrated at a low level. You're tuning into that and influencing yourself with that energy. And so protecting your energy and vibration is so crucial, especially as a light worker, especially as a chosen one, especially as a wanderer, because if you don't protect that energy and that vibration, it will be used not only against you, but it will also prevent you from tapping into these gifts that you most likely came here to tap into in order to serve the collective, in order to help people awaken and tap into their own gifts. So number 3 is explore your curiosity. There's a reason you have that curiosity. And I mean from a heart-based place. You might have some head curiosity, and I don't think that's necessarily bad to follow to a certain degree, although be aware if it's, again, some form of manipulation that's getting you to go down like a trend of fear and then kind of move from that. But when it's coming from a heart-based place and you're just curious about something, like you saw this thing on channeling and for some reason that resonated with you and you don't know why, but you want to go look at that. Or you saw something on, we can take any topic, crystals. You saw something on astrology. You saw something on angel numbers. You know, these kind of things that are considered in the mainstream to be woo-woo and baseless and have no application in reality, even though they absolutely do. Now, yes, some people take those and they kind of use them to justify not actually expanding their consciousness, and I've gone over that in previous videos. But if you are genuinely curious, especially from your heart, especially from that inner knowingness about something, I would invite you to go explore it. Because again, there are guides that we have, there are entities that guide us, is our higher self that is trying a lot of the time to aim and guide us in certain directions. Again, they can't break our free will. We have to make the choice to do it. But they will give you kind of senses of curiosity, things that resonate, that will pull you in different directions. And what I would invite you to do, if you have that just excited kind of curiosity, or just like, oh, what's this all about? I would invite you to move in that direction. For example, in the last few years, one of the things that has been for me is channeled work. And that started for me with Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh, which is channeled written work. And it resonated so highly. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would have tears in my eyes when I would read that book and connect these truths that I assume I one point in time knew, but through the veil of forgetting, obviously needed to forget in order to have this experience. But then it's led me to other things like Abraham Hicks, Bashar, and currently the Law of One, which I think I'm going to be going through many, many times, and of course sharing many of the things I learned on this channel with you. But I got there through following what resonated and following my curiosity, right? That's what led me to really being able to tune more into my power. I really do believe one of those for me is creating these things, expanding awareness, and really helping others to do the same, to tap into their abilities. I'll give you an example of someone else very close to me where she followed her curiosity, and also it's interesting, it's actually my partner, we're together, and it's interesting that I'm so interested in channeled work, and she happens to be someone who's discovering that she is a channel and has had some really interesting experiences in that realm, and it's gotten her, again, through her curiosity, did certain things that created the opening for that to be able to happen. And now is learning from people like Bashar, Daryl and Bashar, if you don't know who they are, like looking at those kind of works. We read the Law of One a lot together in order to learn good practices about this, but it's through our curiosity that we came to that, and it's helping both of us to tap more into our abilities, our powers. And again, so I would follow that stream of curiosity. You have no idea where it will take you. It might be a book that pops out to you about something you would have never really thought of in the past, but for some reason you're drawn to it. It might be a video that's talking about a specific thing and you're just really drawn to it, again, from an intuitive place. It might be whatever it is, a certain teacher. It doesn't really matter. I would really invite you to go down that path of curiosity and see where it takes you and see what comes up, because you may find that there's a certain thing you're being led to that's going to reveal something to you that you have an ability or affinity towards, or something that maybe you're meant to develop. So number 2 is one of the biggest ones, and you're going to notice with a lot of these, it's very simple. And again, I'm not giving specifics in, oh, this ability, this thing or that thing. Like you're a medium, you're a seer, you're a channeler, you're a healer, all this kind of stuff, because there's so many different things. And I want this to be something where I'm not suggesting what it is for you. I want you to come to your own level of discernment here, but kind of lead you to things that are going to help you get there. And this is to really, really invest and engage in your daily rituals and routines. And this is so crucial. And this is one of the things I see most people kind of forgetting to do. And I sometimes even fall into this. And when I don't do my morning routines, my meditations, my things, I'm always more out of alignment, again, because it goes back to protecting your energy and vibration. Whether we like it or not, we are right now in a collective consciousness that is at a lower level of consciousness than many of us would like to be at. And so you can't rely on just kind of sitting back and allowing the energy of this planet at this current time. I don't mean the planet in its organic sense, but the collective consciousness of humanity to be able to help you raise your vibration at this time. You're going to have to be way more conscientious and way more intentional with it. And that is where your daily routines and practices that, again, resonate with you really help. For example, with my partner, with my girlfriend, she does certain things that are specific for those who are interested in channeling or have experiences in that way, and she got that from someone who's done that, Daryl and Bouchard, right? So she's doing that stuff daily. For myself, I have a morning routine where I do meditation. I do a heart math meditation, for those of you who know what that is. So heart rate variability, you can look into that, kind of really getting into that mind-heart coherence, and that helps me with these videos. That helps me with delivering messages. That helps me with so many different things. I do my breath work, which is amazing for me too. I do my exercise my body as well. All these different things. I have those routines, and I'm very consistent with them. And I notice that when I don't do these things, out of alignment. And one thing you'll notice as you start waking up more and you start doing this more, if you even start missing these practices a little bit, the contrast is massive. The more you awake, it's like now you eat the junk food or you do the thing that's low conscious, and you're watching TV and you're noticing, like, it's not just like a little bit, like life seems to tell you, wow, you just, boom, you're out of it, get back in. You're out of it, get back in. So I would just say to invest in those practices and those routines. And if you don't have them, to, again, have that curiosity to discover what that's going to be for you. Again, simple ones to try and start out with are certain, meditations, whether guided, silent, heart math, active. There's so many different ways. See what you're drawn to. Breath work, I love. I love things like also in the physical, moving your body. Some people like yoga. There's so many different things. See what you're drawn to and create daily habits and routines. Because that's going to help you, again, with that other one we went over, in keeping your vibration and energy at a certain place. And number 1 is really aim to not get hooked into the energy of the matrix and the conditioning and the programming, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's very easy to do so. Now, it's not right or wrong if you do. And please don't, I would take away from feeling guilty or shameful or any of those things if you do, because that's actually something that's a part of the matrix as well. Shame and guilt are the two densest, lowest, most dangerous also emotions on the consciousness scale. So it's never like that. It's never to be like it's right or wrong. It's just to notice if you're getting hooked into some kind of agenda, the matrix, the conditioning, which is easy to do. Go on social media and you start scrolling, you're kind of already doing it at that sense. Easy to do. Just snap yourself out of it, become aware, and get back into your practices, or get back into the moment, or work through the things you need to work through. Because the less you get hooked into that stuff, the less it can influence you, the less it can use, again, your power against yourself, the less it'll have influence on you. And eventually, by the time you've gotten away from it for a very long time, you'll kind of look at it and go, I don't even want to, engage at all. And that's why I've noticed, for example, like I don't watch TV anymore. We rarely watch movies anymore. Even on social media, even though I'm very active, I have, I'm pretty strict with myself on not really watching a ton of stuff. And if I do, I have kind of specific things that it has to be at a certain energy, maybe other creators that I really like their messages, or they're more in that high conscious place. But to be very intentional and deliberate with this, because if you're not being intentional with your life, someone else will be. If you're not directing the energy in your life, someone else will. And it will most likely be someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. It will most likely be someone who is nefarious and wants to use your own power, the power that you have, for their own selfish purposes, typically against you or for their own agendas to really progress those. And the way we stop that from happening isn't trying to go after them, but it's just to take our power back. and to be more intentional with ourselves. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I would watch this video next, which actually goes over 5 signs you are a chosen one. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and let me know anything else down below that you believe helps you to tune more into your powers. Share with the community. That's always helpful because it gives people just kind of more, again, of the landscape of what's possible or what they could use. And maybe one person will see that, get curious, and then go down that rabbit hole, which will help them out. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.